Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the February meeting of the Trousdale County Planning Commission. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Ms. Amber, would you call the roll, please? Here.
Dave Parker.
Here.
David Holder.
Here.
Kyle Will.
Here.
Heather Bay. Here. Here, Ms. Maya. Here. And Ms. Amanda Harris. Here.
Okay. Are there anybody have any changes we need to talk about for the agenda? Okay. There's no public hearing. There's no old business. So we'll move right on into our new business. First, we have a rezoning request. This is at Halltown Road of 74.38 acres. This is by Zach Taylor, and it's in the 7th Civil District. So at this time, I'd like to ask Zach if he would please come to the podium over there and tell us what he'd like to do.
Here we go. Not used to microphones in this room. Usually I'm just having to holler at everybody. So 74 acres. It's owned by Stetson Holder. We're asking to rezone and annex into the city. We're asking to go from, it's right now agriculture. We're asking to go to I-1. This property connects to the convenience center, Mike Howes, which is already, I think, commercial and or industrially zoned. Trying to match that zoning or get as close to that zoning. There is a main sewer line that goes up the western side of this property. I believe this property at one point was actually in the growth plan for Hartsville as an industrial area. And so that's what we're looking to do. Happy to answer any questions you have at this point.
Anybody have any questions for Zach at this point? Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank y'all.
I always refer to this as back when we were getting ready to build the high school, which we eventually built down on the Highway 25. This was one of the sites that was looked at for a high school. It's a nice piece of property. It would just, for a high school, it was just out of the way and stuff. But for an industrial area, I can see the validity of that. At this time, we'd like to go to Miss Rosalie, get her comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if you would please, I have included for you a copy of the zoning map, Hartsville. I didn't use the colored pencils this time. This one was easy to do. You can tell the section that is highlighted in blue is the property that's in discussion that would like to be rezoned. You can see that it is right next to the I-1 property. That is the industrial sites up there off of Halltown. And looking at this property, you can see that it fronts two different roads. It fronts Halltown Road, and it also has some road frontage on New Halltown Road, which, for what it's worth, makes it very accommodating for that. Looking at the TN Property Viewer, I did go to the Hartsville Water Department to see, do they have water feasibility? And I was told that they do have a 12-inch water line going along Halltown Road up there to that road frontage on Halltown. They have sewer access as well going along the lines of this property about to the middle, and they also have several fire hydrants available. One down here at the bottom. I don't believe that it does have the 500 gallon per minute, which would indicate that it would be, fire prevention type of fire hydrant. But we do have one up towards where Halltown Road and Industrial Drive meet. It does have the 500 gallons per minute availability there, thus it is eligible for fire prevention. Any other questions you might have?
Anybody have any questions for Rosalie? David?
Rosalie, I just wanted to confirm that quarrying is only allowed in M1, correct? I1, it would not be allowed.
Quarrying is only allowed in the M2 district, which is out in the general services area.
Any other questions for Ms. Rosalie? Heather is a member of the water board. Do you see any issues, sewer, or water?
When do they look to develop?
Zach, do you have any idea about?
We don't have a specific timeline right now. That quite honestly, plans have changed a little bit from where we originally started. So, I mean, obviously, we know we're gonna have to get more approval before we do anything. But I would say, probably summer at least before we did anything, or even got to that point to where we were ready to do anything.
Okay. And we are getting ahead of ourselves just a little bit on this, as this is just a rezoning request. As I would say, getting the ball rolling, so to speak. Does anybody have any more questions for Ms. Rosalie or Heather, for that matter, on what Heather talked about? All right. We're ready. I've done forgot your name again, so Amanda. I'm bad. I've told you I'm bad.
That's okay. So just with everything that's been discussed, staff respectfully recommends a positive recommendation to the county legislative body for annexation of the property into the urban services district and zoning of the property to I-1, finding that it meets the minimum bulk requirements of the I-1 district and meets the zoning scheme of the properties in the area.
Any questions for Ms. Amanda? I'm sorry. Okay, so we have before us a rezoning request. Of course, we have one of three options, as we do with every rezoning request. We can send this to the county commission. We have to send it to the county commission. Only the county commission can rezone property. Our decision tonight is, do we want to send it to the county commission with a favorable request, a negative request, or no recommendation whatsoever? Discussion. Yes, sir.
And I'd like to make a motion to send it with a favorable.
Do I have a second? Mr. Nollner? We do have a motion and a second. It's just a comment I'd like to make. If we have future industrial areas like this to me fits the bill for location and utilities that are already there, and probably for future utilities to come off of that they may need, as Heather, I think, was referring to, that they need to look at. But if we have an area ready for this is it.
If I'm not mistaken, the bottom of this property, the south end, is where I believe Carol Carmen was proposing to do the cut-through road
I think that's right.
to get industrial traffic
Mhm.
into Mueller Brass area instead of it coming through the residential.
Right.
So this property being moved to I-1 seems to fit that previous plan that they were already working on.
I think you're right, and it's possible. We don't know. That would be something that the owners might want to take a look at and work with the mayor and planning and stuff. Would grants be available if this is approved by the county commission moving forward for industrial development? Maybe the road project might come up. I don't know how that would affect their plans, but it's something that they could look at and work through, maybe with the industrial board, with the mayor, and all of that kind of stuff. Any other questions or comments, discussion?
I would like to also point out that in the I-1 zone, any commercial activity in C2 would also be allowed in an I-1 zone, just as point of clarification.
Okay. Any other comments? We do have a motion by Mr. Thomas and a second by Mr. Nollner. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously to send this to the county commission with a favorable recommendation. Do we do anything with the annexation bullet? We need to do the same. Okay. So next on the agenda, under the rezoning request, is the annexation of these 74.38 acres by Mr. Taylor. He would like to annex this into the Urban Services District for a myriad of reasons. I mean, both industrial and development and all of that. Zach, do you have anything you'd like to say about that, or?
All kind of goes together. I mean, we're just asking that it going to be, I think that was the plan at one point for this property anyway, so that's why we're trying to get it there.
Right. Thank you. Ms. Rosalie?
So, as Mr. Taylor had referenced before in the original growth plan for the urban services, they did show this property being in the urban services. So it does just fall in line to what was planned for the area. And with the various utilities that are there, it just stands to reason it would be a good fit.
Any questions for Ms. Rosalie? Ms. Amanda?
Agreed, and staff positively recommends.
Any questions for that abbreviated? I like that. Right to the point. Okay, discussion. Do we have any discussion about the annexation? Again, only the county commission can annex property. So this would be like a rezone. We would need to make either a positive, negative, or no recommendation at all. Do I have a motion? Mr. Thomas?
With the property already adjoining the urban and the utilities already in place, I'd send it before, with a favorable.
Have a motion by Mr. Thomas to send this to the county commission with a favorable recommendation. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Bay. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. Congratulations. All right. Next on our agenda. Well, I guess after going through our training before this meeting started, I don't know where this falls on that, Amanda. You might want to weigh in on this, but our next item on the agenda is a sketch plat request for oh, this is different. Mine's be the next one. I'm sorry. No, it's not this right one. This is for the Trousdale County Field House of 16 acres. It's the map. And I think it's my obligation and duty to remind everybody on this committee that I am on the school board. And I do plan on participating because I have no financial interest in this at all. I would take some, but I don't have any. But as a member of the school board, I think you should know that. And I, want to make that publicly known. Please note that in the minutes. We do have tonight with us Dr. Satterfield, who is, as most of you know, retired from the Trousdale County school system, but he graciously agreed to stay on to help finish up this project, because if anybody knew anything about it at all locally, it's that man right there. He knew every inch of this. And so it's a site plan revision. You're going to be our speaker, I understand. If you'd come up, tell us your name for the minutes, and then tell us whatever we need to know.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Brown, one of the civil engineers on the project. Happy to answer any of your questions tonight.
Well, why don't you tell us what you needed?
Oh, what we did, sure. Since the last time this came before you, mostly what's changed is here in the recent weeks, I believe school board leadership requested a concrete curb be placed in between the double-sided bay of the parking lot there. So we've added that. We didn't lose any parking spaces. We remained at 66 parking spaces. We also added several additional ADA compliant handicap spaces per, I believe, school board's request there. And the building footprint has not changed, just a couple minor site revisions there.
Everybody understand what, this, I believe, is this the property over next to where Dan Carey and all that goes up through there? Coach, is that where? Yeah, the parking lot that backs up to Dr. Carey and the county building there. Y'all know where we're talking about? Okay. Anybody have any questions for this young man? Is it Matthew?
It is, yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions for Matthew? Yes, sir.
The concrete curbing that you're gonna do, is that just one long continuous, or is it broke up for any water drainage?
So we've placed two cuts in it. You may can tell they're in the middle with the two landscape islands to facilitate the drainage down to the existing catch basin through there. It is a long run, but it should function.
I think drainage is that's a good point to bring up. If I'm not mistaken, we have one major drain in the middle of the parking lot. And so this is more of a statement than a question. Obviously we can't pave now since the asphalt plants are closed down and stuff, but when they do, it's going to be paved in such a way to direct the water towards that drain and everything.
That's correct. So
Yeah.
right now it basically functions that way. We didn't propose any major grading operations in that parking lot. We're just basically going to overlay and.
I knew that. This is just more for public consumption and
Gotcha.
give people less to make up something to fuss about.
Less to worry about. You have me on record now, so
As in the last meeting, the mention of the word Facebook, this guy.
understood.
Questions for Matthew?
So
Go
the
with-
reason why you're doing the long continuous curb is for aesthetics, or why did we need this?
My understanding was it's to prevent the high school kids from doing donuts in the parking lot. It breaks up the continuous asphalt and would prevent donuts.
That's a good.
So we've called it the donut prevention curb. So
That's
that's a civil engineering technical
that's
term.
pretty good.
Well named, well named.
I'm sorry. I couldn't hear.
May I speak?
Sure.
Will this aid in stormwater for that? Because it looks like it's going straight to the drain.
I'm not going to say it aids in stormwater, but it does not prohibit stormwater.
Other questions? Comments? Sure. Go ahead, Coach. The curb could help someone not paying attention, parking and stuff, keep from running into the fence behind it and all of that. My junior year, I was in a car with one of my teammates and we went through the fence on out into the football field. And I don't know that a curb would have helped us then, but you remember that? I don't think he was with us. Yes, sir.
The only concern I have is the water runoff there. With it being gravel for all these years, water was able to go down. Once this is paved, the water's gonna run towards the field coming off the road. So just a continuous curb is the only thing I'm concerned about. He said that it's been broken up. So as long as there's breakup for water to cross over going towards the practice field, I don't see any other concerns that I have about it.
I think that's why I wanted to talk about the paving could help direct the water and stuff. Other questions? Ms. Rosalie?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the reason why the site plan is being brought to you is because it has changed enough in order for you guys to be able to view this. The concern I had was the continuous curb, but with the slicing of that island there, it will allow for the water to drain and it will direct it. There is only one stormwater vent there, and it's down there at the Half Moon. They're also numbering the parking places, which is different from the site plan. And it's changed just a little bit with the additional number of parking being ADA compliant. It's a little more of the ADA compliant parking, which I don't think you can ever have enough of that. You know, a lot of times you're restricted, not restricted, but you're only required to have a few. And this, I think, does that very well. They are also going to be putting, if you notice here, a traffic sign at the second entrance. Believe it or not, College Street is a one-way street. And a lot of people didn't quite realize that, and this is going to help prevent those turning on the street that shouldn't be. That being said, I think this does the job. And thank you, sir, for coming and putting this together and letting us see that.
Just a comment on the one-way. To my knowledge, I was on the city council when we made that one-way. So we're talking in the 90s. To my knowledge, it's never, ever been enforced. Ever. Right. Miss Amanda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no additional comments to add to what Ms. Rosalie has said.
Thank you. I do have a motion from Amanda, I'm sorry, from Ms. Bay to approve this. Do I have a second by Mr. Welch? Discussion and or any other questions? Hearing none. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. Thank you all for coming tonight. Next on our agenda is a site plan request at 1275 Highway 141 North of 9.97 acres for a major subdivision of 7 lots by Lewis Cass Beasley III. And Jim's here.
You said site plan.
Oh, I was looking at the one of, sorry, this is a sketch plan. Sketch plan. Go ahead, Jim.
Good deal. So, this came back before y'all, I don't know, 6 months ago for rezone. And so, I don't know that, Cass is looking to build anytime soon, but he wants to go ahead and get his lot situated and everything. So, that's what we're looking at doing. And, don't think I really have any comments. There is an existing fire hydrant out in front of the Church of God of Prophecy that will cover lots 1 through 3. They'll have to put in another fire hydrant out near the north end of the property up there to cover 4 through 7. I'd just be glad to answer any other questions you might have.
Anybody have any questions for Jim? Thank you, Jim. Ms. Rosalie?
Thank you, sir. So if you'll note here on the sketch plat, there is an existing 6-inch water line. Thank you so much for mentioning where the fire hydrants are. You know, we are trying to make sure that we have adequate fire protection. As far as the sketch plat is concerned, they do have all the necessary information on there according to our ordinances. Thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Rosalie? Ms. Amanda?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Due to the conceptual nature of the submission, staff considers the sketch plat generally suitable for initial review and recommends the Planning Commission approve the sketch plat as a conceptual layout.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Ms. Amanda? Okay. Discussion and or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Welch to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Moose. Any discussion? Oh, I should say Mr. Harper. You may not know who Moose is. Okay. It's hard for me to, like Shutterbug and Moose. So you talking about to the motion? How do you think that? We're okay,
That is what a sketch plan is.
okay.
Ways of saying it, but they needed to say it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say, oh, I'm sorry.
I know when this was originally, up for rezoning, there was discussion about the, water infrastructure in this area. Rosalie, do you know if that's been, looked at for this property as far as supporting the extra lots?
I did talk with them about that and they said that it would be fine.
Okay, good question. Any other questions? We do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. And next is a preliminary plat request at Cemetery Lane and Herod Lane of 6.65 acres for a major subdivision of 11 lots by Barnes Anderson in the 7th Civil District. This is Jim again. Please, Jim, go ahead.
Okay, so we looked at this one in sketch platform last month. We've done a little more investigation just to sort of go through it. They are gonna have to place in a water line along Cemetery Lane from the corner of Herod Lane and Cemetery Lane down there, because that's where the current fire hydrant and the current line ends as far as being able to provide residential flow right there. They're gonna have to put in a fire hydrant up around lot 11 to cover what that fire hydrant at the corner does not cover. We discussed all that. Okay, so out in the middle there, you see an area, and once again, this is totally up for discussion. I made this up based on a note that I run into out of doing stuff in Wilson County. So over in the notes, it just says this area is considered non-buildable due to slopes in excess of 15%, which is basically where our stormwater stuff starts cautioning us. And it just says the owner of any lot who desires to build in this area must basically submit a engineered site plan for construction in that area that addresses all the issues. So that's what that note says. And it's basically, there is a steep little pond area right in the back of 7, 8, 9, 1, 2 right there that we sort of hatched off right there, you'll see. And if anybody needs a bigger copy to look at, I've got some if you need to look at. But overall, I think that's it's from my perspective, so I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have on it.
I've got a question, Jim.
Yes, sir.
So it's non-buildable land. Who is going to own that property?
No,
And be required to-
it will be owned by their respective lots, the owners of the respective lots.
Lot number 7
just-
would own all of lot 7 where the 7 is.
That's right.
And own back to
It's
the next.
just an area where you cannot put a residence without jumping through a
Okay.
bunch of hoops.
That was my concern, is who would be responsible for the upkeep, mowing and such of that property.
Yeah.
So that's how that works. Okay.
Yeah.
That might have been a dumb question, but it just hit.
No,
me.
no, that's just fine.
Other questions for Jim?
Not a question, but I would like to thank Mr. Carmen for taking that into consideration with water runoff that we're addressing throughout the county. Allowing that to be put into the notes. That way it's not something that we have to push for later, but sets us up to be able to manage that in the future.
I think you're right. Anything that we can take care of on the front end, makes Rosalie's job easier and just makes the future homeowners, living easier and better.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Sure.
For the meeting minutes, I'd like it noted for the record that that's a self-imposed condition, not a condition of the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure that's an important note to have. All right, any questions for Jim before we go to Miss Rosalie? Okay, Miss Rosalie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in looking at this, and thank you for the information on what they're planning to do with the water lines and everything, I do note that you have two different utility easements on this plat. Over there on lots 3 and 2, there's a utility easement. And then again, over on the other side on Herod Lane, you've got the utility easement on 9 and 10.
Yes, so those will be for multiple things. Basically, though, it is for a service line to get to the manhole. We're within distance allowed by the state to go into a manhole with a service line. And so this is basically, so the one along 2 and 3 will basically be for 1, 2, and 3 to put their service line in. And the one over here on the other side will basically be for 9, 10, and 11 to put their service line in, going to the manhole, is what that's basically for. Now, not to say, well, I mean, like in the front of 2 and 3, it's also going to get the water line extension. And any future extension, matter of fact, I'll probably go ahead and extend it out across 11 to cover that fire hydrant. But any future utility extensions will be able to use those easements and stuff through there.
Also, if you note that there are 3 manholes listed on this preliminary plat, 2 over there on Herod Lane, 1 in front of lot 5 and the other in front of lot 8. And then the 3rd manhole is over here on Cemetery Lane, right above lot 3. I'd like to thank you for letting us know about the 15-degree slope. This will also help us when if it does get approved through the final plat and everything. Once they start coming to the office to pull building permits, it'll allow us to know, are you sure you want to put your house there? You identified the building envelope, and then if they want to build back up on there, what we need to do as far as requiring them to go through TDET to get an engineered site plan and everything. Looking at all this information, thank you so much. And looks good to me. Thank you.
Any questions for Miss Rosalie? Miss Amanda?
Thank you. The proposed subdivision appears generally compatible with surrounding rural residential development patterns. Staff respectfully recommends approval of the preliminary plat.
Any questions for Miss Amanda? Discussion? Or motions?
I'd like to make a motion to approve this plat with the addition of the utility easement onto 11 that he said he was going to add to it.
Okay. So we have a motion with that addition noted. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Bay. Discussion? No discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, please say no. Does pass unanimously. And we do have one last item. Actually, it's a catch-up item. You have had your minutes for a while. So going back to the top, anybody have any corrections or additions or anything to last month's minutes? If not, I would accept a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Thomas to approve. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Welch. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, please say no. And just one last thing, I thought the training before was very timely and very good. Just as a reminder, we would not have been able to win our court case with the rock quarry that went all the way to the Tennessee Court of Appeals had the minutes not been adequate and in order, because that's what they mainly went by, was that. And then as far as us as members, we made sure, you may remember, we made sure that the rock quarry company had as much time as they needed to present their case, even though the ones in the audience were fussing and complaining. That didn't matter, but nobody could say we shortchanged them any on their experts and all of that stuff. They had plenty of opportunity. And that's where the timeliness of her training comes in, to show you how important that is when it matters, when it goes to court. Because, you know, if we go to court, I want to make sure to win. All right, anybody have anything else? Yes, sir.
So just an update. We have a final draft going to the full commission of the combined zoning. There have been a few edits that were performed since this body saw that. That final, Rosalie, I didn't even look to see if it was in the minutes or the packet that you emailed out, if there was a copy of that. Okay.
But I will send it out onto the plan.
But we're going to be voting on that in the full commission this month for the first vote.
Good.
The edits that were made were some language changes. There was some verbiage that was acceptable back in the 90s that's not acceptable now, that we had to adjust. There were some departments that have changed names in the state of Tennessee that we had to adjust. We did find where Mr. Gregory had filled in some holes in our zoning, and we pulled those out because they are not in our existing. We're setting those aside, and those will be coming before the planning commission and then the full commission to be added in. I believe those are there. Amanda also found several holes as she was reviewing. And so we have a list of things that need to at least be looked at, that whether we need to add these into our zoning. But I made a promise to all committees I served on that as I oversaw this, it would be no new laws being put forward. There are no new, additions being snuck in anywhere to my knowledge. And Rosalie, both and I took a day and just went through the document. Amanda's gone through the document. Rick has gone back through the document. So to the best of our knowledge, I have stayed true to my word.
I think that's good. And I think that lends itself to be able to be passed, and then anything new should be noted as new and should be discussed and voted on separately. Thank y'all for all your hard work on that. Any of us that know members of the county commission, besides David and David, please express your desire that they should pass this. Finally getting our zoning rules metroized, I would say. It's been long enough, and we need to pass this and then get on with any changes that need to be made. Thank y'all for all y'all's hard work. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to ask if any of the commissioners that did attend the excellent training that Amanda had during the BZA, please make sure that you sign the sign-in sheet. That way you can get credit for attending the training.
Anything else before we adjourn? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Noller, do I have a second? We adjourn. Moose seconded. We're out of here.